Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Metis Warrior, here with Timothy and Alexandria.
Hello everybody.
So the MMF has put out that they're leaving the MNC. They're putting out for this reason, that reason, blah, blah, blah. But we know the real reason that they're leaving the MNC. The writing was on the wall, Chartier out of there. His term has long been up anyway. And so now we're looking for a brighter future for the MNC. We're looking for transparency, fair treatment. So, I mean, you know, when the MNC is turning to transparency and fair treatment for the Metis, who leaves? The MMF. So, I mean, it's like it's an allergic reaction or something, right? So, don't believe the stuff that they're putting out about the reasons why they're leaving. I mean, obviously, they were not going to win any decisions because they have had control too long. Chartier has had control too long of the MNC. And so now the question is, was the bank accounts for the MNC drained prior to all this happening? Because that money is meant for the Metis, for the people that is within the Metis nation. And so here's the thing, did certain people drain those bank accounts? That is something that will be revealed in upcoming shows. We will know this information. And we had high hopes for a brighter, better future with transparency and fair treatment for the MNC. But, and we still hope that that's going to happen, but we really don't know what the hell is going on. But we will bring you results as they unfold. It's been a while since we did our last show, but so we got a lot of topics we're going to talk about today.
Well, folks, we know that today is the judge-ordered General Assembly in Saskatoon, September 29th and September 30th. How ironic that on September 28th, 2021, on the letterhead of the Manitoba Métis Federation, they are saying that they are withdrawing from the Métis National Council. They say it with a heavy heart. I'm not going to read the whole blurb, but there's some key points that when you read this information, and they go on page 2, the very top of page 2, when you look at the release, it says, shamelessly using the Ontario Commercial Court, the governors kept you off the assembly agenda and shut you out of your rightful participation. When we're talking about colonial courts, if I can recall correctly, didn't the ousted president from BC choose a colonial court?
I mean, here we have a bunch of colonial ass kissers complaining that people are using the colonial system. They're using the system you wanted to play. You wanted to play with the colonial system. You didn't want to work things out within the Métis Nation. You took it that route. So yeah, they played it the way that you wanted to play because there was no fair treatment. There was no transparency. But now there's going to be a lot of that. We hope. You know, we will see what's going to happen with the MNC. You know, I don't know. I might have a different opinion on it later on down the road. We will see. We better have some damn transparency and some fair treatment within the MNC, that's for sure.
And you know what? The lateral violence, the lateral damage, the hate, it's just running rampant. It's really a plague with Métis people across Canada. And you have individuals like this MMF minister telling you, and I quote, "In the future, please do not refer to this group of failed presidents or their organizations as anything to do with the Métis Nation. Let them be what they are, pan-Indigenous groups." I'm sorry, who are you?
I mean, that's just a bunch of bullshit. I mean, they're putting out bullshit. Let's be honest, bullshit. And so, you know, just continue to put out bullshit here and there. And we got to understand that it's just the way it is. You know, what they're mad about, it seems, and they have the allergic reaction to, is fair treatment and transparency. I mean, it's like, oh my God, the MNC is going to become fair and equal and transparent. We got to get the hell out of there. That's what it seems to us. Like they running from fair treatment and transparency.
Well, you know what? It is when organizations or individuals lose control, it is a very scary, frightening feeling for them, and they lash out, and that's really what it is, that they know they're going to lose control. So what do? They run and they withdraw from the MNC.
That's not a democracy, by the way.
That's a dictatorship. I mean, it's a dictatorship when, if you can't control every move, every cent of the money. And we have to remember, people, we were born Métis, and the nation is made up of people from each province, and it is not about abandoning or dividing and conquering your people. It is about the Métis people, our names, our history, our genealogical records, and our keyword, collective rights. I think collective rights is something that the MNC or the MMF is not familiar with, and our birthright.
It's more of an individual thing for them. It's a certain little group of people there that they just want to get richer and richer and richer off your rights, the Métis people's rights. They want to get rich off of your rights, and you know, we're not just speaking crazy here. Let me just let you understand something. There's going to be a lot of information revealed about transactions that's happened within the MNC that may wake some people up out there, because we're going to put that information out there for you to see, especially if the bank accounts were drained prior to the new president taking over the MNC, because that's not how democracy runs at all.
That's right. I mean, we would only hope for transparency where we see a monetary amount from the MNC bank account go somewhere legitimate. We have a right to see that information. And our birthright is not for sale, and it's really not to be bought and sold. And you know what, folks? The Canadian government is just loving this. They are sitting and watching Métis people battle each other over identity. We have people that
let's be clear though, it's over money. It's over money and control of the money. But go ahead.
And it has to do with who's Métis and who's not Métis, because that again stems to the money, the control, and what's going on. And really, I think now with the MMF withdrawing from the MNC, I think we can really start to now work on building a nation, not a corrupt empire. And I think
which has existed before.
That's right. And it's just shameful that it's come down to this, and people are just battling each other. You know, we have again, and this is another statement that I read online, and I think it's very, very true, and I quote, "The Métis Nation is and will always be the people. All of us, registered or not. It comes down to the people."
Let's understand something here. Corruption is when you are not transparent to the people that you claim to represent. Corruption is the misappropriation of funding. And we're going to be bringing you some shocking details coming real soon about what the hell has been happening over the last years within the MNC. And so, yeah, I mean, but you know, we disagree with Chartrand and Chartier and some other people on some issues, this is for sure. But we do agree with them on some other issues, which we will be talking about. What's the next topic we're going to talk about?
And I think the thing that bothers me as well is we have, again, this minister, and I'll quote this as well, and I think this really struck home with me, and I quote, "Rial's people, the Bois Brûlés, the Opestimek, and the flower beadwork people, and of course our own name for ourselves, the Michif, have used their right of self-determination to stand for ourselves. We claim these names, our names, away from these reckless presidents." End of quote, by Minister Will Goudon. So
you can't claim jack shit. You can't claim people's identity. You can't claim a damn thing. You cannot claim people's identity. I mean, good God, man. But I mean, you know, and it's a shame that we're on such opposing sides of the fence with Gudon because Gudon, you know, at one time you had a relationship with Gudon. I mean, you're related to Gudon, and he's in your family tree, he's in your genealogy, and I'm gonna tell you that you know, I wish that we was not on opposing sides because I think, you know, there's a lot of things that he does that I find very interesting. I mean, yeah, we talked about the slingshots before, but
come on.
Let's be real. They're nice. I mean, I think they're nice slingshots, regardless of what. I mean, yeah, we disagree on political topics, but I think some of the slingshots that I've seen, I mean, they look nice. I like the fact that he makes the maple syrup, but we do disagree on a lot of key political issues, and we have been battling over those issues for a couple of years now. And it's a damn shame because I wish we were on the same page. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what? Well, I have to add more to that because, you know what? I can't stand behind anybody that is pushing an agenda and is influencing our youth. I have a problem with that, and having silly contests and all these things to do with racial and all this stuff, that is not appropriate behavior for a minister representing a Métis government or organization. I don't care how many slingshots you want to put in the mid. You are representing your organization to the masses, our youth, and it is not appropriate behavior. Yeah, maybe you like slingshots or whatever.
No, I'm just saying, like, some of the things that he's into, like, I find very interesting. And so, you know, we can disagree on the political issues, but I just feel like I wish we were on the same side of the fence. I wish that we didn't disagree on the issues. I wish that we could have a sit down and actually have a discussion and come to some type of agreement, because it's just, it sucks to not be on the same page. And you know, I'm not going to make fun of his slingshots. I think that they actually look nice.
Well, you know what? Making fun of people because of where they live in Canada isn't fun. And trying to, kind of drag our youth into this identity debate is not proper, is not right.
Well, I agree with that. That's not right. Yeah.
And I think we should be able to have respectful discussions. And like Timothy said, we may not agree on topics, but we have to be respectful. And that's going to bring into something all this lateral damage and lateral violence in BC. We have so many people sending us stuff. We have individuals that are not in any capacity of the government, the Métis organization in British Columbia, name calling, slandering people. They're going so far as saying that the acting president, Lisa Dawn Smith, is not Métis, dragging people's name into the mud. I'm sorry, folks, that is not the way of our people. We do not call people names. We do not have hate speech. It is absolutely atrocious. And I've heard there's a lot of people are saying now that a lot of citizens in BC are going to be putting their applications into the MMF. And the word from people in BC, they've used the word swamped. So where have we heard that word swamped before? So you know what? A lot of the...
I would ask people in British Columbia to stay within Métis Nation of British Columbia. I mean, right now, I disagree. I disagree with the way that all this unfolded. I think it's crappy the way everything's unfolded. It was a very slow process when it comes to strategy and getting things done. The Tri-Council did not do things in an orderly manner, in a quick manner. They allowed themselves to lose control, and we'll get into more of that, but go ahead.
But I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask our listeners as well, is in all these heated debates in BC, and I know the acting president, Lisa Dawn Smith, her name was in this quotation where they were called savages.
Who called who, sir? I don't know. What happened?
A person in BC was referencing, they're continuing to say that the acting president, Lisa Dawn Smith, is not Métis, and another person on the board is not Métis, but they were lining up like savages for the money. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. There is not one Indigenous person, Métis, Inuit in Canada that has a right to be called a savage. That is a racial slur. That is actually hate speech. And this is what's going on with people in BC. That is dead wrong. What about our youth? What about our children? Lateral damage, lateral violence has a lasting effect. Wake up, people. And I can only hope that this person is held accountable for their actions.
Well, the British Columbia attorneys suck. And I say that because, man, every attorney really sucked except for the one in Alberta. And that's what allowed so much damage to be caused over the last few months, because they just got walked over. The British Columbia, they're doing the right thing. They're definitely doing the right thing for the people. They're transparent, and people need to stay with the Métis Nation of British Columbia. Stop believing all the BS that you're seeing out there on social media when it comes to the MNBC. I mean, you got to stop believing that. Yeah, we've been saying change is coming, and change is coming with the MNC for sure. And you know, I mean, I guess in the case of the change for the MNC, the Métis Nation of British Columbia had to sign a deal with the devil at some point. It was either going to be, what do you do? Do you stay with Chartrand, or do you stay with Portress? Because I'm going to tell you this, I consider Portress worse than Chartrand. So let's understand that.
Well, we're going to be having an up-and-coming show in regards to all the things that are happening in the Métis Nation of Alberta, because I'm going to tell you, folks, there's a lot of shit going on in Alberta, and we're going to be dedicating, one show. There could be many shows, but we'll be dedicating a show on Alberta, and it's it's just a lot of turmoil.
Can we go into Alberta right now?
Well, Alberta, we can talk a little bit about it. Like I said, I don't want to mention too much to spoil a future show. But, we know from hearing from a lot of citizens in Alberta, citizens are not being consulted. There is no collective rights. There's, apparently the president is really, and this is from citizens, is really not being proactive or working for the greater good of the Métis people in Alberta for transparency, accountability.
Well, let's understand this. Audrey Portress has decided that it was more important for her to stay president than it was for her to do the right thing for the citizens in Alberta. So I give props to the Alberta Métis Federation for actually starting a new organization. People have issues with the Alberta Métis Federations because of certain board members. I understand that. But there had to be some kind of change in Alberta. You got to understand that. Portress is the poison for the Métis Nation of Alberta. She is absolutely no good for the Métis citizens in Alberta. Yeah, she has a small circle of people that praise her. And yeah, those people are going to say all kinds of good things about her, but when you step back out of the picture and you look at Alberta, you got to recognize that Portress put herself above the Métis citizens in Alberta because all she cared about was staying in power. If she actually cared about the Métis people in Alberta, she would have stepped down from her role, let somebody, not in her circle, by the way, because they were going to be influenced by that same Kool-Aid that's been passed around in Alberta. She would have let somebody new come in there and actually run the Métis Nation of Alberta and do the right thing for the people. She's been in there too long. She's set in her ways, and she's not doing the right things. And that's why the Alberta Métis Federation was refreshing for a lot of citizens. Although we don't agree with the politics of some of the people in the Métis Nation, of the Alberta Métis Federation, we damn sure don't agree with a lot of their politics. 90% of what they do, we do not agree with. But we do agree that something had to give. There had to be some kind of change. And if you had the choice between joining the Métis Nation of Alberta or joining the Alberta Métis Federation, clearly your better choice would be to not join the Métis Nation of Alberta, because as long as Audrey Portress is there, she will be there until the Métis Nation of Alberta is destroyed, it's brought down, it's getting no more funding from the government, because at the end of the day, it seems like it's just pure vanity and greed, because why else would somebody stay in office and when her citizens, so many citizens, have issues with her? It's like, step down. Ain't there an election coming up soon?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the key word where people are saying there needs to be term limits. Being a president of a Métis organization or a Métis government shouldn't be a lifetime position. There should be term limits where new blood, younger or youth can come in, make change. But I mean, a lot of things that we're hearing about in Alberta that, you know, a lot of people are saying that bylaws out there aren't worth the paper that they're written on. You may as well use the bylaws for toilet paper to wipe your rear end.
Yeah, it's not worth anything. I mean, you know, that's part of the reason why we waited so long to do another show. We sat back and we was watching what's been going on, and as we're watching what's going on, we're not liking a lot of the things that we're seeing. We tried to hold off on the talking about Alberta stuff, but we just got overwhelming information on things that are going on with the Métis Nation of Alberta. And you can't, to be fair, if we're going to be fair as a media outlet, you cannot just condemn the Alberta Métis Federation. You just can't say, oh, they were wrong for doing what they were doing. No, I can't say that. I can't say that because something had to change. Portress was in control. She is not giving up the power. She is all about herself. She's a self-server who definitely is all about, I don't care if the Métis Nation of Alberta is brought down as long as I'm still in charge, as long as I'm still the president. And Métis of Alberta, please listen. In the next election, when you vote, do not vote for Audrey Portress. You got to put somebody fresh in there. Do not let your votes go to somebody who's going to destroy the Métis Nation of Alberta. Because here's the thing. You have to keep the funding coming in from the government. As long as Portress in there, the Alberta Métis Federation is eventually going to take all that over, and they're going to be the top in Alberta because Portress has just refused to change.
And I think, like I said, we're going to have a show coming up on what's really going on with the Métis Nation of Alberta, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I want to sort of zip back to the recent events, and I want to read part of a statement from the Métis Nation of BC Acting President Lisa Dawn Smith about the MMF decision to leave the Métis National Council. And part of it is, I quote, MNBC is especially dismayed that the MMF chose to abandon the Métis National Council on the eve of an MNC General Assembly and election that would usher in a new president. So they were so scared of
democracy. Democracy. That's democracy. They're so scared of democracy. That's how democracy works, Chartier and Chartrand. That's democracy, man. You run from it. You pull out from it. And y'all running a dictatorship. There's no damn democracy there. I mean, let's be real here. You're afraid of democracy. I mean, that's what it boils down to. If you would have stayed in there and let democracy play out, that's just democracy. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. You should have stayed a part of it, and you should have just kept things going. Because, I mean, who cares if you would have lost initially in this next assembly? It doesn't matter, man, because that's democracy. You don't pull away from your people.
And to finish part of the quote, after nearly 2 years of delay since an MNC election was required, our government has spoken clearly on our commitments to democracy and accountability for the MNC. And again, by turning its back on the General Assembly, the MMF has demonstrated it is interested in cooperation across the Métis homeland, end of quote. And I think that speaks volumes. They're not interested in democracy. They're not interested in working together. They want complete control, dictatorship. If things don't go their way, they bail. And that's exactly what it is. And
let's talk about democracy for a minute. Democracy is alive and well in the Métis Nation of British Columbia. Democracy is alive and well in the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. I mean, whether you agree with the president of Métis Nation of Saskatchewan or not, I mean, it was a democratic election. It was a fair election. I mean, that's just the way it was. And so you got to give them credit for that. The only problem that we actually see with that alliance is portraits, and people make power plays, and when you bring in somebody who's screwing their people, and we're not in Alberta. So here's the thing: we're going off of what all the citizens are saying. Matter of fact, there's one citizen in particular who's requested something through some kind of process,
a judicial process, yeah.
And
they're waiting a year.
Been waiting a year. And this is the way Portraits is running shit out there. Man, screw that.
Well, you know what? I think we've had several sources tell us that in the recent assemblies or whatever, a lot of citizens were just astonished that Audrey Portraits really just let things slide and was sort of, maybe for a lack of a better term, kind of robotic, and was non-responsive into letting things go. And I mean, being in an office for over 20 years, give it up. You're only in it for the money at that point. You're not in it. You're not serving your people.
Self-server, man.
You're not in it for the money.
There should be term limits. No president should be allowed to do over 12 years. I think 8 years, but if you want to max it out and stay in there for vanity, 12 years, I think. But I think really it should be cut down to 8 years to serve as president of any Métis organization.
Exactly. And it makes sense. And I want to read another quote in response to the MMF withdrawing from the MNC. And to me, this made perfect sense. And this was something that they were responding to Will Goudon on Twitter. And it says, I quote, "Just like spoilt, rotten kids who can't get their way in the sandbox when they can no longer dictate how the game is going to be played, they want to take their toys home. They, however, do not own the toys. They belong to the people." End of quote. So we have the MNC, the MMF saying that they're now wanting to claim the names of all the Rial's people, etc. No, they don't own those names. So whatever they're trying to pull by that is a bunch of bullshit. And people were actually responding on Twitter wondering why the citizens were finding out through Twitter about the announcement. And because Will Goudon, I guess, couldn't wait to splash it all over Twitter, and citizens were asking him why there was nothing official in the works. So, I mean, really, Métis leaders should practice the 3 R's. And the 3 R's are respect for self, respect for others, and responsibility for all their actions. And I don't know if there's very many people that...
Well, honor, courage, and commitment also. Like, honor, courage, and commitment.
Yeah, but did you even...
And so, go ahead.
But did you even know that now the acting vice president of the Métis Nation of BC is not a Métis?
No, she is.
No. This is Lewis. This is Lewis.
No. You're talking about the vice president.
Oh, yeah, I just said...
Lewis.
Yeah.
Lewis is a Métis. Get the hell out of here,
you
man.
have these people in BC, the same people. This
God.
person said to Louis de Jager, and I quote, "There is no words to describe what you have done to our nation, especially in BC. You're not Métis, and you never will be." End of quote.
Well, let me say this. I issued a challenge for anybody that wanted to come on the show to debate us. You can come on and debate us on issues. If you're knowledgeable on the issues, we should be able to have a great debate. okay, to come on the show. So I have to speak slowly here because somebody tried to debate on a Facebook page or whatever, and I don't really do those. I don't run Facebook pages, so that's why we say let's do this slowly. To come on our show, the show that you're listening to right now, and have a debate with us. In case you couldn't understand that before, the invitation was to come on the show and debate us. And if you didn't want to debate us because you don't have a lot of knowledge on the issues and you don't agree with the things that we say, we can say, okay, you can come on as a guest. We'll give you respect. We'll let you speak, and that way it'll be in a non-debate setting, and we'll just have a discussion about it instead of a debate about it. If you just wanted to come on as a guest, not one person has accepted the offer to come on the show and do a debate with us.
A respectful debate.
Respectful debate. We saying we'll give you a respectful debate. Not one person who disagrees with us has accepted the invitation to come on the show, even as a guest in a non-debate status either. And so, but yet, there's one individual out there that claims they tried to debate us. You got to understand, to debate us on the show, okay? And if you got to bring a guest with you to help debate, you can do that too. We can have two people on debating us. That's fine. But don't go around out there hollering that this person's not Métis and that person's not Métis, because at the end of the day, I mean, good God, there's this lady out there running her mouth about me, making assumptions about my identity, and like I'm running around doing crawfish balls and stuff like that.
That's pathetic.
And I mean, that's flat out lies. The woman's lying. She's not educated enough to understand she can be actually sued for some of the stuff she's putting out there, because you don't know me. You don't know my genealogy. So why in the hell would you make up lies, not just about me? And I wasn't even going to bring it up about me because I typically don't address things like that. But she's made up lies about other people she claims to have knowledge on. And at the end of the day, you don't know jack shit.
And you know what? Talking about not knowing jack shit, I think this is how I want to sort of end my portion of the show. We know that the General Assembly is going on today and tomorrow in Saskatoon. More on that later. And they can have you, because this has bothered me to no end. Indigenous people are not savages. Full stop. This is hate speech. And this was the same individual that also claimed that Tony Belcour was not a respected elder. And this is not okay. And I got to wonder how status and non-status First Nations feel in BC about this statement. And I'm going to read a larger portion of the statement that I mentioned earlier, because I have the full statement. I'm not even going to name the name because they don't deserve to have their name mentioned. And here's part of the quote. And non-status puppets, along with non-Métis Lisa Smith, doing as they please. Now money is on the table. All are in line like savages. And this person, you want to join the MMF? Good riddance. That's what I say to you.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, when you start talking about this person's not Métis, how the hell do you know?
They don't have access to their genealogy.
Yeah, and so you're out there putting out information, you're slandering people on social media, you're slandering people, you're speaking a lot of nonsense, a lot of lies. And my question is, when it comes to the president of the MNBC, didn't the former president sign her off on her thing? That's what I understood.
The president that is no longer president of the Métis Nation of BC actually signed off on Lisa's membership card. What's up with that?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Maybe check with your buddy there.
So is your signature no damn good? I mean, what the hell is that shit? If you're going to go around saying that they backtrack on it, I mean, I don't understand. Obviously, financially, there is a motive to say this person's not Métis, that person's not Métis. At the end of the day, if you take money out of the equation so everybody can get back to being family and respectful, because money has turned this into a very ugly thing It really has.
That's right. And like I said, again, today and tomorrow is the the judge ordered General Assembly in Saskatoon. And this is what somebody had to say prior to the news of the MMF withdrawing from the MNC, and I quote, "So instead of reflecting on Orange Shirt Day, the MNC will have to listen to David Chartrand's BS. Great. If they even get past. Hope that you're
invited to our show for debate, or if you're too scared to debate us, like if you don't have enough knowledge to debate us, when we can have you on as a guest to just talk without being in a debate setting, and we will be respectful to you."
Yeah, but didn't you know that the same group of people in BC that is spewing all this hate think that I'm a fake Métis? Well, I guess if I'm a fake Métis...
That would make Will Goudon a fake Métis, because y'all related.
And you know what? Leah LaPlante, I'm related to Leah LaPlante, who is the VP, I believe, of the MMF. I guess these people that I'm related to, they're fake Métis. This is how stupid these people are.
They don't know you. They damn sure don't know me. They don't know our genealogy. She is definitely Métis. And so stop. Those are lies and those are slander when you're out there saying that she's not Métis, and then you're out there putting genealogy on me that's not true. You're absolutely lying. You can't go on Facebook having me doing crawfish bowls and sitting there thinking I'm out in the swamps and putting out absolute lies and not thinking at some point that you may be sued for slander. I mean, you know, we've already had attorneys step forward and offer us that, but we try this out there just spewing lies about people's genealogy like she knows this person. You don't know no damn body, man. You don't know jack shit about the people that you're trying to claim that this person's not Métis or that person's not Métis. You're trying to make yourself seem more important than what you are, and you're not important at all. You're very unimportant, because, and actually you're damaging to the Métis Nation, because all you're doing is spreading lies about people. And I've talked to at least 5 people that this person has actually taught lies about their genealogy, and I do know that at least 3 of the 5 are thinking of slander suits against this one individual, and it would be something that would be warranted, because if you think about it, you can't go out there and put out lies about people's genealogy when you don't know jack shit about people's genealogy.
Well, you know, one of the individuals, and it's the same group of less than 5 individuals that are doing these slanderous defamation attacks, and you got to wonder, they speak without thinking, and they were attacking another citizen in BC. Screenshots were taken, and I guess the individual became scared, because I noticed that they deleted one of the comments, but it's too late because the screenshot was taken, and this is the individual that continually, no, this is just part of where she's attacking Lewis, saying he's not Métis, but the other individual that was attacking another citizen, she went in and deleted it, but we actually have it here, and
because people send us stuff. And you know, we're not out there actively monitoring whatever people think that we're out there 24/7 actively monitoring social media. That is not true. We have people sending us stuff all the time. We have people. Métis Warrior is not just the 2 voices that you hear on here. We have other people that help us, that are within our working organization, that are actually out there doing these things. And the funny thing is that the people that are getting these informations that are in the background of Métis Warrior is in some of the circles, and these people don't know it. And so it's pretty funny that these people are in their circles and they get screenshots and they send us stuff all the time. We get so much information, it's just crazy.
That's right, and we can only hope that the individuals that are attacking the acting president of the Métis Nation of BC and the acting VP of BC are held legally accountable. Reconciliation, it is a statutory holiday, and for the first time, September 30th will be observed as a statutory holiday to commemorate horrific legacy of residential schools in Canada. And as we know, not every single province in Canada is honoring this statutory holiday. So that is tomorrow, folks.
That's it for me.
Take care.